Hello, welcome to Miniature Realms. My name's Stuart. We've just had the big summer reveal and we've had a pretty big summer already for Warhammer the Old World. 3 new factions, a match play guide and a huge FAQ and errata, moving the game onto a 1.5 edition. And we've got some more bits today to talk about as well.
Miniature Realms is proudly sponsored by Counter-Attack Bases. They stock a wide range of counters, gaming aids and movement trays for multiple game systems and offer custom items to suit your club or even your podcast or YouTube channel. Check out the link in the video description.
Not only have we got some new miniatures on the way for Warhammer the Old World, which I wasn't necessarily expecting, 2 new Arcane journals on the way, and then something for Age of Sigmar in the guise of Chaos Dwarfs, which is going to be very, very exciting for Old World players, and I'm sure we'll see many of those models on square bases. So let's have a closer look. Let's start with the Old World releases, and we have some new plastic miniatures, which I wasn't necessarily expecting, but the little hints they gave with the Pharaoh style hat maybe gave it away. But we have some new Tomb Kings, and we have the Royal Heralds, and we also have Lich Priests as well, and these are 2 miniatures in a set. And we see those a little bit already. We've seen it most recently with Cathay with the new miniatures, and you can build one as a BSB, one as a character miniature, and this works the same way, I imagine. So you've got your BSB character, but you've also got your champion level, your general level, depending on how you build your armies, and the same with the Lich Priest as well. But we'll go into what they are in a little bit more detail in a moment. We also have the War of Cetra's Fury, which is an Arcane journal for the Tomb Kings, or at least a campaign around those, and we'll look at a little bit more details in the article in a moment, but I don't think anyone was expecting that. We knew the Arcane journal for Cathay was coming, the second one, and we knew there weren't going to be any miniatures for it, but to see a Tomb King themed one coming first is really exciting as well. And then Dawn of the Storm Dragon is that aforementioned second Cathay Arcane journal, which I'm really super excited for. As always, things are a little bit clearer over on the articles, and we have the Royal Heralds and we have plastic miniatures, as I already mentioned. You can build your standard bearers or your tomb princes on foot or mounted on the barded skeletal steed there. Lots of different build options. I think they are pretty cool looking miniatures, loads of extra details on them. I am surprised by these, but it's really nice to see them returning now almost back to the beginning of some of the factions and covering them with Arcane journals and filling out their ranges, maybe with kits that weren't available in plastic, so we can start to look at plastic miniatures, and maybe we'll see less and less of the metals. I'm sure that's part of an ongoing long business plan to remove metal from the ranges and probably resin in future as well. So people that like new miniatures and new plastic miniatures, this is absolutely fantastic news, and these are great. Hopefully they'll send me some of these and I can get painted and get some videos on the channel. But my favourite out of the new plastic miniatures shown here are these Lich Priests. Beautiful miniatures, just really cool, and I really can't wait to have a go at painting these. And again, you've got that 2 in a set there. They're going to be multiple different build options, I am sure. Really cool. Let me know in the comments what you think of these miniatures, but my initial reaction was the Tomb Kings look cool, the Lich Priests just absolutely really amazing. Absolutely love those sculpts, so I will look forward to painting those when I get a chance to. And then we have the Arcane journal War of Cetra's Fury, which it's a surprise journal for me. I'm not surprised they've done it. I'm not surprised at all that we're seeing a second round of Arcane journals. That's been mentioned in previous articles and widely rumoured anyway. I'm just surprised it's the next one, but it's going to be really cool to see. And I love the idea. We're talking about a campaign here in the Border Princes, so that Cetra is invading up north into the Border Princes, and it sounds like there's going to be some really cool narratives and building that narrative and that lore around the new timeline of the Old World, which I think is really important. Again, we're looking at these 48-page Arcane journal supplements that we're already used to, but you'll find rules for mounts for Khemri characters, incantations of the mortuary cult, and various armies of infamy, including Dwarfen Slayers, which is so cool. I've got some built and ready to go, including some conversions, so hopefully I can use those. I'm really excited to see what's in that army of infamy. I think that's going to be one of the big talking points. And the Border Princes as well, I wonder if that's going to be big Dogs of Warish with a few things taken from other areas. Who knows, maybe not, but it would be really cool if they leans into a lot of the mercenary units that are around, alongside rules for smaller bouts of Warhammer the Old World. I wonder if we're going to see that 500 point format that we saw in the free scenario that they put out actually kind of ratified in a set of rules in there, so you can go and play those more introductory kind of games, but really, really good. And then we have the Arcane Journal Dawn of the Storm Dragon. This is the one I'm probably most excited about, but maybe it's just because I just finished painting a Cathay army and I love the Empire, and this is what this is all about. And I love that there's lore building here as well. So 2277, and we know Friedel's invading the north. That's in the Warriors of Chaos journal as well, so that narrative's already building, and it's great that Marrying sends a fleet from Cathay to help deal with that, and it looks like we've got rules for Empire and for Grand Cathay teaming up together, and I just think that's really brilliant. It really excites me from a narrative point of view. I'm already been researching, because this has been the rumours and they've mentioned this already. I've already been researching Marienburg and things and coming up with little plans before this, so this makes me even more excited for this book, and hopefully it's not too much later. But there we go. So we got armies of infamy, the Jade Fleet, an alliance between the Grand Cathay and the people of Westerland, which is basically Marienburg at that time. So I couldn't be more excited about this one. And then fun things, so generation tables, guidelines for multiplayer games and linked battles. So, again, campaigny kind of stuff here. Lots more lore, really leaning into that side of Warhammer. We've just had the match play guide, which I think's got loads of stuff that's great for casual play anyway. But now we've got some real lore building for Warhammer the Old World, which I just think is so important. And then we had the Chaos Dwarves, which was probably the worst kept secret. Everyone kind of knew this was coming, but I don't know if anyone expected the extent, or we have just been shown. Yes, it's an Age of Sigmar release, and the first little teaser and all the units they discussed was Age of Sigmar Spearhead, and I thought that looks great. It's a really good basis for building an army for Warhammer the Old World. I mean, if you're new to Warhammer the Old World, Chaos Dwarves exist as a legacy army, and it's a free PDF, and they're not supported quite as well. But I'm sure that lots of people will be looking at this to put on square bases. And then they hit us with a second video with everything else that's not included in the Spearhead. And there's so many units there that will fit with Warhammer the Old World units and match up. There'll be conversions needed for sure, but there's just so much stuff. I think it looks pretty cool at first look as well. I can't wait to see them closer, but I just imagine there's going to be an awful lot of excitement around this army from Age of Sigmar players, but also for Old World players as well. I'm looking at all these miniatures and thinking that will be an amazing legacy army project, and maybe we'll see some more Chaos Dwarf armies on the non-official tournament scene, which is pretty much everywhere other than Warhammer World anyway, because these miniatures really open up that army to people that aren't able to get hold of the out of production resins from Forge World, or the really old metals or plastics which are a nightmare to get hold of on eBay. This really makes it affordable. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be a lot more expensive than the Old World prices for miniatures, but I think it means that you can get a plastic Chaos Dwarf army on the table. But let's have a little look at some of the miniatures and see what we think of them. Now, it's undeniable that many of these miniatures has got an AOS aesthetic to it now. That's the modern way with these miniatures. But for me, they've definitely got enough of a Warhammer feel to them and enough of a Chaos Dwarf feel to them, and they are different from what came before with the Forge World releases, and they are different from what came many years before with the original Citadel releases. They are different, especially the wheels on things like that big cannon thing. They look very modern, and you need some conversion in my opinion, but it's up to you. And there are definitely miniatures that you might not use at all for fantasy, for square bases, but there is enough here, I think, as well. All the character models think would be usable and very thematic, and definitely be painted in a way that would work with the Old World. And then the bull centers are just going to be fantastic, plastic bull centers, it's just incredible. And then there will still be gaps in the roster, I'm sure, but there's so many here that are inspired by the previous lines, and maybe I'll go in and do a more detailed video when I've had time to absorb all this properly and match these miniatures up with the unit entries in the army list. I'm sure someone else will do it. These are perfect hobgoblins in the old sense. They will work very well. There's already people using these miniatures from the Age of Sigmar range anyway, And I just think there's so much here that can fill out most of that roster with a bit of converting. I mean, look at that, absolutely stunning stuff. We couldn't have dreamed of filling so many roles. Look at those last two stunning models. You can do your Lamazoos, your Great Tauras, you can do your Iron Demons. I just think with the AOS range that's coming with this and what already exists, I think nearly every unit entry is going to be covered. But let me know in the comments below what you think might still be missing and maybe how you'd fill that. I'm just thinking that most of the things in that army list now can be covered by what's coming and what's available in the existing ranges for Age of Sigmar, and also all the other old world ranges and things as well. We can build all the artillery from what's there, even if you're converting in some of the new Cathay cannons or something like that. Yes, it might get expensive, but I really think that it's very achievable now, and I imagine there's going to be lots of very excited people. So as I said at the start, I think we've had a really good year for Warhammer, the old one, but a particularly good summer. 3 new factions, a match play guide, and this really great FAQ. I wasn't expecting very much for this. In many ways, we've got 2 books, maybe one more than we expected to be shown now, and a couple of plastic miniatures that will really excite some Toonkin players, but maybe not everyone else. But I don't think that matters at all. I think that that's still great to be seeing 2 new books, and I'm really excited about the books. So we've got a lot of miniatures now. There's a lot to be working on, and I really want to see that lore develop. So I'm really excited about both ideas, about narratives around the Border Princes, which is going to bring lots of different factions and lots of different armies of infamy, and then the same a little bit further north with bringing Cathay to the old world, and then that alliance with Empire fighting against Chaos, which is really, really cool, and I couldn't be more excited about that as well. So really cool, really nice to see those on the way. And then that secondary thing, the Chaos Dwarfs, which I think we all knew were coming, but there's a lot more than I expected. I thought we might see a spearhead. I did wonder whether there wouldn't quite be enough to make into a full old world army, but with all the extra stuff that we saw that's coming with it, as well as a really quite filled out faction, then yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting my head down and get my head around that and working out how many sets are going to be needed, and maybe knocking up some army lists. I've never been a Chaos Dwarf player, but those miniatures are so nice, and I did think to myself that if they look cool, it might be a fun project for the channel later on in the year, whenever it comes out. Especially if there isn't any old world releases at that point, it could be a perfect window to do a bit of a focus on a legacy army. So if you'd like to see that on the channel, let me know. Mine's not fully made up yet, but there's some cool miniatures there, and I'd love the opportunity to turn them into a full old world army and change them and de-AOS them a little bit. And if you're an AOS player, then they look stunning, and I imagine that's going to be a really exciting addition to the game there as well. Thank you very much for watching. Please do comment below and let me know what you think of the reveals today, what your plans are for them, maybe anything you've seen from any of the other game systems I've not really mentioned today that you're also excited about. I'm definitely interested in some of those other games as well, but I've given this video a little bit more of a focus on Warhammer the Old World because that's so much of what this channel is about, though I do cover lots of other games as well. So if you are new to the channel and you've discovered the channel first time through this video, do check out all the other things as well. It's a wide range of game systems beyond the Games Workshop as well, and I'll pretty much cover anything that's got toy soldiers in it if I want to paint them in it. So do go and check all those things out. It's mostly hobby stuff on the channel, but a bit of commentary and a bit of chatter like this as well. If you'd like to support me, please do check out the link to my Patreon and check out the channel sponsor Counterattack Bases as well, and all the other affiliate links which are there. But thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you soon.